You can't afford a house in the United States? Well, you're not alone. This video, I'm going to talk about why home ownership is unaffordable for the majority of Americans. Let's take a look at this graph right here, and it basically shows that the housing affordability is at the same level as it was in the 2008 global recession. And I do predict it actually will be worse than the 2008 global recession crisis. You can also see in this graph right here that one of the main things is interest rates have gone up to try to cool inflation. And inflation is being cooled, but prices are not going down. Interest rates are one of the main reasons home ownership is unaffordable. Also, another thing is that Americans have migrated to cities, and there's so much of the United States that is considered undesirable because it's not connected to essentially rural areas, as America has moved to a information technology and engineering economy instead of a manufacturing and agricultural society. So we're seeing that a significant portion, especially young people, are moving to these 10 to 20 cities around the United States, and all the land there is already taken. You can only expand so further outward, and then when you have a bunch of rich people who own decent spots of land around these major cities, that becomes very valuable, and they're not going to get rid of the land. They're not going to build apartments or condominiums on the land. They're going to hold on to that land for their nice single-family home. And so much of new housing is being essentially made for rich people. So you're only seeing luxury apartments and luxury townhomes being created instead of middle-class townhomes. Wages are not keeping up with inflation. That's another thing that's big. And I think in terms of inflation, although it's cooled off, I still think all these global conflicts, what we're seeing in Ukraine and the Ukraine war, that's not going to be over anytime soon. It doesn't appear the Israeli war is going to be over anytime soon. Who knows if there's a war in the Asian Pacific, North Korea, China, what their plans are. But I think the adversaries of America know that these wars are putting a lot of strain on the American economy, and the American political system is already divided. We're headed into going to be a very strange and hotly debated election in 2024 for the presidential election. And honestly, I don't think any of these economic problems are going to cool down, or housing affordability is going to get any better until this election is over. There's too much on the line with this election. Young people have way too much debt. We just saw a study that the Gen Z has more credit card debt than millennials did at the same age, which is kind of surprising. Summing up why housing is unaffordability is inflation, interest rates, wages not keeping up with inflation. Much of the United States land is not desirable anymore. You only have these 20 cities around the United States that are desirable, and many rich people have already taken the land there. And you also have all these global conflicts, and we're in a presidential election. So honestly, I do believe that the housing affordability issue is a issue that's very complex and will not be solved until 2025 at the soonest. Things are going to get rougher ahead. And yeah, let's just hope this video works out and I make a lot of money for it, for my situation. Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.